Oh, we are? Okay,
We
cool. Welcome to our Dungeon Duets stream. This is a solo game between me, Casey, and my lovely girlfriend, Haley.
That's me.
We are geeks and nerds who like to play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons and like to do a lot of role-playing and play role-playing games in general. So we just wanted to stream that and have fun with it and bring that to you, to anyone who wants to watch. So, I guess without further ado...
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to keep track of Twitch from here while we're doing it, so be patient with me.
Be patient with us. We're new.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy. We hope this is a fun little... we hope this is fun. What we really want to do is invite you on the story that we're going to tell, which is going to be pretty fantastic. It's going to go through a lot of ups and downs. You're going to watch her probably cry a lot. We want to tell you a story. A story with characters, with places, with things that are interesting and fun. And since this is D&D 5e, if you're familiar with that, let me go ahead and just tell you... go ahead and tell you essentially what we've done for the solo game to make it, because D&D is a party-based game, the little additions and rules that we've added. So Haley's character Tiriel, she's both a wizard and a rogue. Basically, I've given her Gestalt class. She will level up in both simultaneously. If she ever wanted a multi-class, she could suspend their levels for a different level, but that's too much. We probably won't go there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've made her overpowered. I've done so on purpose because, again, she's a solo player.
All by myself.
All by herself, yeah, all by herself. So we need her to be at a place where she feels comfortable fighting against all these enemies. Now, just to preface sort of the world that we're running in, it is my homebrew world, the world of Baranzaya. There's a lot of interesting things that I think are cool about it. But as you come to get to know and love the world, you'll see sort of, what I built around. So should I tell them a little bit about the Merwood? I think I should.
I think we can get there.
Just a little bit.
All right.
So, let me tell you about the Merwood. In Baranzaya, there's a large megalithic forest, very old, and belongs to the elves at this point. The world has suffered a pretty big hit 600 years ago at the hands of a pretty foul being. Think of like if Sauron went and basically did what he set out to do. Sort of like that, except humanity just barely won. So the elves, ever since that point in time, have just been rebuilding inside of their own forest, and they've been pretty reclusive. So we'll be from the point of view of an elf who's lived in the Merwood all her life.
It's me.
That's her. Lived in the Merwood all her life, and so now she's coming out and exploring the world once again, so you'll get to explore the world with her and learn about it just as she does. So... And with that, I think we're ready to play. You ready? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so nervous.
Let's begin.
Okay.
You left your home under the cover of night. No one knew you would leave, except your father. Right before you stepped from the threshold of your front door, you turned back to look at your father one more time. He was watching you leave. His old gray eyes full of the wisdom of 1,000 years, yet angry, bitter, disappointed. You left your home and didn't turn back. Walking away in the sight of Pyr'aven, the elven capital. You strode through her streets, past the silver tree homes of your people, under the lonely watchtowers built to keep vigil against the threat from 600 years ago. And finally, out into the Merwood, a sylvan citadel of sprawling massive trees, a few mountains that rise above the canopy, and winding passageways through twisting corridors of root and brush. You notice that the Merwood is quiet. She's not usually one for silent farewells, like a stubborn mother reluctant to let her child leave her breast, or a helpless child, bereft the chance to say goodbye to their mother. The Merwood has kept your people for the past 6 centuries in a stifling embrace. But it couldn't be helped. You know the elves are tied to the lands they love, and the lands come to love them back. And when that land is taken or destroyed, you know the paths that avoid the hungry creatures lurking in the darkness. Very little escapes your vision in the dark as you see the world in perpetual twilight, the colors gaining in sharpness and vibrancy even in total darkness. It reminds you of a time spent in the realm of twilight, drinking from the cup of Oberon himself, the melancholic king of dusk. With a grace and speed superior to even most of your kind, you arrive several miles from the Merwood's edge before dawn's first light. You see the shambling walls of the struggling settlement of Inundar, a human settlement at the end of the Hero's Road lying equidistant from the Star Mountain just north in the Merwood, and the Emerald Coast to the south. Inundar has struggled to survive as a city on the only on-land route between the riverlands to the west and Sidonia to the south. But the elves have never made it easy for them, preventing the road from being built further south, harassing Inundar's non-elven population, and sacking trade caravans that go in and out. You notice as you approach, the village seems to be bolstered by large humanoids in armor, with leathery, scaly skin of varying shades and colors. These are Dragonborn, soldiers from Sidonia, most likely. You think to yourself that their presence doesn't bode well. Tiriel, what would you like to do?
So good. What time of day is it? You said it was evening?
Did I say it was evening? No, I did not say it was evening. It's actually morning.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dawn. The sort of dawn light is actually spilling over the horizon, sort of eking its way through the trees. And actually, before we continue, you do also notice, from your vantage point, you actually notice that there is some caravans winding their way, 1 or 2 caravans full of goods, and you see humanoid figures. They're winding their way down the road, and they're coming from the west. As you get closer, you discover that this large caravan's carrying a shipment of goods, and it's probably minutes from the city, as well as you are. You notice that the city itself is sort of set to the backdrop of some great ruins. You know, because it's part of your history, that Inundar used to be a great city. During the scourge of 600 years ago, it was sacked, essentially, and left as skeletal ruins. So you know that the new Inundar is sort of built on the outskirts of those remnants.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And these caravans that are coming in, are we both going the same direction? Like I'm going to sort of intersect with them on the way into the city?
You could certainly intersect with them, yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It basically, like you can think that you're like here, city's here, the caravan's over here, because you were approaching from the north.
I would like to sort of segue in towards the caravan and get close enough to see what kind of people are traveling with it.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
What it seems to be carrying.
Well, as you get closer, you notice that the caravan is made up of mostly humans and dwarves, a few halflings, and as well as a few drow. You spot a man at the front of the caravan who looks like a tired dwarf. The sides of his head are shaved, the top of his head pulled into a tight knot. Not head, hair, top of his hair. His whole head just... a big bushy beard framing a middle-aged face. That's what you see. And the goods, it's hard to tell from right here, but it's a lot of like burlap sacks, barrels, things like that. Probably just general supplies, general trade goods.
Gotcha.
Maybe, food and stuff.
And I guess last question about the state of the caravan. Do they look particularly well guarded? Or do they just look like travelers?
The drow, some of the dwarves, and like 1 or 2 of the humans look the most armed.
Gotcha.
So yes, there does look like there are guards for the caravan.
Well, I'd like to just, I guess, are there people walking alongside, or is everyone riding them?
No, not everyone's riding. There are some people definitely walking along.
I'd like to just sort of segue in towards the back.
You want to try to slip into it?
No, like, I want to just, like, I don't know, let them catch up to me, maybe, on the road. And walk alongside them if they let me.
Okay. Are you going to be...
and they're headed into Inundar, right?
They're heading into Inundar, yes. Okay. Are you going to be just dressed as you are?
I mean, I'll, like, pull the hood down.
Pull the hood down off your head? Or over your head?
No, I guess I have my elven cloak. I'll leave it on.
Yeah, so just
I don't have... I'm just double checking my spells. Yeah, no.
Unless you disguised yourself, they will know you're an elf from the Merwood. Yeah. You have all the marks.
I realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna let them catch up to me and see how they respond, and if I can walk alongside and ask some questions as we move towards Inundar.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you move in right beside them, and you actually move in as they sort of catch up with you. You see that sort of that middle-aged dwarf with the big bushy beard and the sort of top knot on his head and his sides of his head shaved. He's the first one to really catch up with you, and he sees you. However, I'd like you to tell me and our viewers what they see. What is Tiriel like? What has she got going on?
So Tiriel definitely dresses in shades of like blue and gray and black. And she has a hood, like very elven cloak that she wears for the moment pulled up over her head.
Okay.
And has a long dark braid that hangs over her shoulder, and wears under the cloak but not hidden her wooden longsword, very distinctly elven make. And it's all solid wood. It doesn't have like a hilt of any other material. It's all one solid piece of this dark, very high contrast grain to the wood. Like it has this sort of red and black grain to it.
And it's enchanted. So the magic keeps it from really being worn away like most blades would.
It's magic.
But it is far lighter than a normal steel weapon.
Yeah. Guess what else? She has sort of like silvery blue eyes, very pale blue, closer to like a silvery tone. And lighter skin. She spent a lot of time in shadowy forests and in dark places, so she's not particularly tan from travel or being outside.
What's her hair color?
Dark.
Dark?
Yeah, like almost black.
Almost black. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have your familiar out?
Probably. I think for the moment it's probably hanging out with me as a small owl.
Oh, an owl. Okay. And your familiar's name?
Oh gosh.
Just so I know that.
So
I'm not calling it your familiar all the time.
I didn't actually decide that. Let me puzzle over that and we'll pick one.
Yep. All right. As you think of your familiar's name.
Yep.
The caravan catches up to you again, and that middle-aged dwarf, he's and you can just hear him sort of grunting, and you catch him from sort of the corner of your eye. He doesn't look at you, he just like his big bushy brows just are set down, and he looks like he's grumpy, and he's just like driving. He just looks tired. You can see like the bags under his eyes, like he's probably been traveling for too long, and is probably ready for some rest on this leg of the journey. But yeah, he regards you out of the corner of his eye with like a grunt,
I sort of like take a step back off the path to let the carts pass.
Okay. And as you do, it seems like you get a lot of looks, of course. No one dresses you outright. Most people are, I guess, trepid. you see this sort of hesitation in their eyes to address you, and they all look at you with a little bit of caution, is what I would say. Even some of your notorious the people opposite of you, the Drow, who've embraced sort of underground living and have now at this point become loosely aligned with the dwarves. You definitely see some more cautious stares from them than anyone else. But the dwarves definitely, the humans are sort of interested in you, sort of seeing this sort of lithe elven form with this sort of alabaster, very, untouched skin, and these very piercing silver blue eyes. So yeah, they definitely just pass you by though. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of want on their end to engage with you.
Gotcha.
And you kind of expected this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I'd like to just sort of follow along the back of the procession and keep an eye on someone who looks maybe more curious than nervous. And possibly even children. Like, I would sort of expect, like, even if they're tired, like, towards the back of the caravan, kids who are just restless to be running along behind it. Because I'd like to scope out someone who seems willing to talk to me.
Okay. As you begin to follow, you begin to see this, like, face pop up from over the wooden side of the cart. And as he's looking up at over you, you can tell this is, of course, the face of a small human child. He regards you with more curiosity. What do you do now that you see him?
I would like to use prestidigitation to just, like, the next time he pops up, I want to make a little flock, butterflies. I don't know what you call, like, a group of butterflies.
Oh, wow.
Just a little, like, whoosh, like, flutter of them.
He just immediately, like, pushes himself and he's like, oh, wow! And you can just hear this exasperation, this
exasperation.
Yeah, it's very excited, just, I guess exclamation is what I meant. Yeah. I'm so excited! No.
Exasperation. Wow!
Yeah. Jeez.
You magic trick me.
Yeah. You're so cool. But yeah, he pushes himself up out of it and he's just like, oh, wow. You see that.
Do I look like his parents watching?
You do. You see a human man with, black hair, long black hair, a nice trimmed beard, long black hair sort of pulled into a ponytail. He's one of the guards, it looks like. Or at least he's armed. That's for sure.
So they're eating all this.
Sorry.
Not sharing.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Apologies.
He is armed?
He is armed, totally. But you also know that most people in this world, especially if they can carry a sword, they're carrying a sword. Mm-hmm. The threat of monsters keeps almost everyone with some sort of defense at their side, some form of protection. So yeah, he's definitely now eyeing his kid, and he's eyeing you. And you can hear him, he calls out to him. You can't hear exactly what he says, but he calls out to his kid. And his kid just like looks at the guy, and then looks back at you, and then... And at this point, the caravan is sort of entering the threshold of the village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'd like to just sort of keep trailing it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time this kid looks, I'll, like, keep him entertained.
You're bribing him with magic tricks or something?
Totally.
Okay.
And just, generally doing harmless magic tricks to entertain a kid.
Okay.
But I'd like to just follow them in and scope out the town as I come in and where the caravan's headed. I kind of want to use this chance to like eavesdrop on whatever like plans are being made.
Okay.
And where these goods and people are going, and maybe where they're coming from.
Gotcha.
Because I guess, does it look like these people are just transporting goods, or are these people like moving in?
Give me a perception test.
First roll.
First roll. Let's hope it's not a bad one.
You know what's really cool about these like full spectrum lights is that they actually activate the glow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, if I hold this down here, this will actually glow in the dark right now. I have glow in the dark dice. That's a 7.
That's a 7.
It's +5 though, so it's
11?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't think that they're moving in or anything. You don't think these people plan to be permanent residents of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you're getting into the city, you notice that Inundar is not totally a city. I mean, it is. It's big.
It's a town.
It's a town, really, yeah. It's got you guess that maybe its population is like 2,000, 3,000 people. Because, even this sort of sprawls out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is sort of the main epicenter of it, especially set to the backdrop of these ruins.
Gotcha.
Which for the first time, seeing up close is kind of stark for you. Because from what you know of Inundar, this place used to be... it was a creation on part of both humans and elves. And so these sort of skeletal remains that you're seeing are, giant, torn down, like the remains of these massive trees, which your people live in.
Mm-hmm.
And the humans and elves back then had sort of combined the best of both worlds, making, combining stone structures with these tall trees, and supporting them at their bases, and also creating these, just interesting connection points and stuff. It definitely had both the flair of elven and human architecture and the best of both worlds. And built with some interesting materials of the time, but now it's just a dead place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very eerie looking at it, because especially seeing those trees, it makes you sort of think of what might happen if, or what other parts of the Merwood might look like. Those same giant trees, but now burnt to ash and destroyed.
Could I make my way towards the ruins?
Yeah,
I'd
totally.
like to. I don't know, like how many people are sort of in between me and that, or whether there's people around it, but I'd like to go just.
There are a few people. It's still pretty early, but most people are going about their own tasks. They're setting towards the day. You notice that there's a lumber mill on the village, or on the river that's bisects the village, and it's pretty active already.
Mm-hmm.
So you do see some people like shuffling in and out, going to their duties for the day.
No one like right around the ruins.
No one really right around the ruins, but everyone who sees you gives you a wide berth. A very wide berth. You're not surprised again.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you a wide berth, and you begin to move towards these ruins.
Then at that point, I sort of make use of that, and I just head towards it.
Right, just beeline.
Yeah.
Okay. You've actually come upon a graveyard, too.
Oh.
And their city's graveyard is sort of at the base of the ruins. You see a lot of small plots. They're all dug underground, basically, marked by stones.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you do notice that. You don't see, of course, the stones don't have anything fancy except names and dates. Just things to let you know who lays there. That's what you see.
I'd like to sort of walk into the first part of what remains of the structure, and
Okay.
stop for a moment, and if there's no one in there, I'd like to ritual cast detect magic before I keep sort of wandering through, just in case,
Sure.
just to see if there's anything left that hasn't already been picked through.
Okay. You spend about 10 minutes out there. You ritual cast detect magic,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't detect anything.
Mm-hmm.
You would know that elven cities normally are magical in nature, and that even Inundar at one point would have been, but whatever constructs have maybe kept those enchantments alive are probably destroyed, and destroyed completely. So, yeah. You come back out though, going back towards Inundar, right?
Yeah.
Or do you want to spend more time in the ruins?
No, I mean, she'd just sort of wander and look and see what remained of it. Because what Tiriel's familiar with isn't this sort of mesh of construction methods. Like, she's lived in only elven construction for her whole life.
Right.
And, spent time in the Emerald Realm, and that's something entirely different. Spoilers. But this would be sort of like known to her, but new for her to experience. So she'd just sort of wander through and like observe what she could of what's left.
Okay.
Maybe just make notes of anything interesting she notices and move
Okay.
on.
I mean, yeah, you make notes of sort of the style of construction. But honestly, there isn't a whole lot that remains for you to really take into account. You can see some sort of the ideas, I guess, that were there. And if you can certainly picture in your mind what this place might have looked like. But again, it's really ruined.
It's a ruin.
It's a ruin.
Like a real one.
Like a real ruin, yeah.
Cool. Well, then, yeah, should just head back out and just start seeing what's going on in Inundar. And
Okay.
Possibly, because she could tell as we were coming in that it was Dragonborn outside the city.
Totally. I mean, yeah. You definitely know that.
So that would be sort of her next step, is to scope out where they are.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. You do go out back through the graveyard, and as you do, though, you notice that there's a woman there, and she's placing some like freshly picked flowers on a grave, probably for one of her loved ones. And as soon as she sees you, she like, you can see a scowl form on her face. This sort of darkness sets in, and she spits towards you, and then rushes off, just hurriedly leaves.
Nice. Yeah. Never been spit at before.
She spat at you, totally. Yeah. Not on you, but at you.
If she spit on me, she's dead. Just kill a civilian. First session.
Yeah. The scourge of Inundar.
Okay. Well, I'll file that away for later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you make your way back into the village, and you notice that. You definitely notice that that a lot of the Dragonborn, there are certainly a lot of them are clad in armor. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are, armed, but they definitely seem like soldiers, actual soldiers from Sidonia. But then you also see a few who are actually working, and they're working on the road. They're working on building the road. It looks like through Inundar, and they have wagons of supplies. They definitely look like they're of like Dragonborn make.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing anything to conceal yourself?
No.
No?
Not at the moment.
Just walking through like a boss.
I mean, I'm not like marching down the like construction zone.
You're just sort of watching from afar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
I would still like you to go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Just because I want something to roll against, see if these guys notice you.
Okay. That's not rolling well.
What'd you roll?
That's a 13.
Oh. Music.
Oh.
Do you hear it?
What about it?
It switched to something else.
Oh. Okay.
Can you do it from there?
Yeah, I can. Sorry for
You're
figuring
fine.
this out. Yeah, we've just been playing too long. Oh, this is not it either. That's the wrong playlist. No, that's not it either. This one. There we go.
Thanks, Boo.
Yeah, you're welcome. Really
Would you also want to pull up the thing on there so I can see
see what?
people?
Here?
No, like, oh wow, okay, is that our chat?
Yeah. It's mostly Josh. Pause,
The
because now we're
real-
looking at Twitch.
Oh,
We were rolling for stuff.
Okay.
And Doug! It's Doug!
Oh, Doug! Hey, thanks for tuning in. Okay.
Perception checks to see me have disadvantage right now because I am wearing my cloak and I have the hood up.
Oh, that's
So-
true. You're like all ghosted out. Okay, so I'll roll with disadvantage. But what'd you get?
I rolled a 13.
A 13. Okay, not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I
Good.
rolled terribly, but I have a great stealth modifier.
So I rolled a 7.
Oh, yay.
All right, so you get the sense that they don't really notice you yet. Yeah. You see them working on the road. You see them pacing about, especially the soldier types. You do at one point though see an older gentleman who actually looks like he's clad in some vestments of Elisol, the sun god, which
Interesting.
in your tongue he is Sulanel. Yeah, and what that means in Elvish is the shining beacon. You generally consider Elisol a spirit of the sun, and the sun being one of the greatest spirits of all, of course. But the man in front of you, of course, is clad in the vestments of someone who considers Elisol a god.
And does he seem to be involved in this construction work?
No, I mean, you don't know. But what you do see is that he begins talking to one of the larger Dragonborns, who he has some, what would you call those? Marks, I guess, of being of a higher rank.
Oh.
Captain
like
or something.
insignia.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And he's green, all right? And you see them talking sort of hurriedly, and you see the older gentleman begin leading him back to what you can guess is probably the elder's home or something. It's sort of one of the bigger, statelier ones. Could be like a place of importance.
Interesting. I will follow them, and could I possibly sort of scope out on the way if it looks like this, like, elder's home is one of the more prominent places in the town? Because I kind of want to know who's in charge here and if he's one of them.
So yeah, when you see his home, it's decorated with things, of course, that a lot of religious paraphernalia that, of course, say, hey, this is my god. I like him. And
He's got some nice macaroni art on the fridge. Very subtle.
just a giant sun in there. He's got a smiley face. No.
Sorry.
Wow. Yeah. Derail much?
Sorry.
No. But you do see that he is. The home definitely seems important.
Okay.
It seems like this is probably a place. Like this guy might be the village elder or something.
Okay. Could I follow close enough to them to see if I can hear what they're talking about?
As they're walking, go ahead and give me a perception test.
Okay.
But once they get inside, that'll be a different story.
Fuck.
No, your dice are letting you
You
down.
guys let me down. It's been
Dang.
all single digits. You said perception?
Yes, ma'am.
It's only a 9.
Only a
I
9?
rolled a 4.
You only hear the sort of tone that they're talking in. You hear the tone that they're talking in, very hurried. It seems like there's a tone of urgency to what they're talking about. But you don't get much more than that.
Okay.
And then they get inside.
Okay. This is like adjusting the volume on me while I'm not looking. What do I want to do? Can I... I want to know things, but I'm rolling poorly.
You can know things.
I can know things.
You can know things. Just gotta be crafty.
I'm getting to know a new character too. I would like to attempt... Can I ask you a question? You can decide if this works. I can summon my familiar within 30 feet of me in an occupied space. Does that include the other side of a closed window?
Assuming you can see the point that you're summoning him at, yeah, or that you're bamfing him to.
Then I'd like to sort of see if I can see where they go in the house, or look for, like, on the off chances, like, I'm reaching here.
So you absolutely need to be stealthing at this point, though.
Okay.
So you're gonna need to roll me one more stealth check.
Cool.
And this one, however, this will be we'll sort of let this roll stand for as long as you're doing this and you're sort of scoping them out. This will be your stealth check for that activity.
So if I'm actively trying to stay hidden, can I do it with advantage because of my cloak?
Yeah.
Does I have advantage on checks made to hide?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
She has a cloak of elven kind.
Yes! That is a 25.
Not bad.
Thanks. It's about time.
In your own elven way, you definitely slip into the shadows.
Cool.
And then you peer through one of the windows, and you see them walk by, and it looks like they're just walking into sort of like the equivalent of our dining room. You know,
nice.
They're walking into a place with tables, a place with a basket on it with some fruit inside, a place for people to eat. And so they sit there, and you want to summon your familiar inside?
I want to try to summon it out of their sight.
Okay.
So that hopefully it could maneuver to where...
It's an owl, though.
Well, could I summon it, like... if I saw, like, their approach, like, through another room, could I summon it, like, a room behind them?
So no. When they walked in, it's pretty much this
right
big open area. Yeah. You can, however, see a doorway, and you can see another room across from you, but you have no idea if anyone's in that room or anything like that.
Heidi says Casey Sarah's close to Matt Mercer's. That's deliberate.
No, I was going for Keanu Reeves.
I think you got a little bit of both.
Maybe.
Anyway. I'm making this needlessly difficult. I apologize.
You could have just talked to the people, but now you're trying to espionage. Yeah, you don't talk to people.
Not good at talking to people.
Jesus.
I guess...
You could always just knock on the door and introduce yourself.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I guess I could.
Oh, wow. Are you really going to accept that suggestion?
No, I'm not.
You're a wizard, Haley.
I am a wizard.
You're a
I'm
wizard.
A battle wizard, not a talk to people wizard.
But you can do schemy stuff.
I can do schemy stuff, but only so much.
All right, well.
I want to try to summon him in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna just try to do it. I'd like to sort of. I mean, apparently I was really well hidden.
You are really well hidden. Your owl's a different story.
Owl's a different story.
But this is how we'll do this.
Okay.
If you want to summon him inside,
yeah,
I will say you need to give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, okay.
You need to give me a sleight of hand check. And this is essentially determining how well magically you can sort of place him without making a whole lot of ruckus.
Yeah, I mean, he's a small, dark owl.
Sure.
You know, he's not big.
Sure.
I don't have time to turn him into anything else. Thanks.
Yeah. Sure. What'd you get?
12.
That's a 12?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
You don't have any modifiers?
Well, no, that's
it's
with
12
the
with your
modifier.
modifiers. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
12 total.
You actually summon him, and you don't really mean to.
Right in the middle of the table.
No, not right in the middle of the table. On like a cupboard.
Oh.
Sort of peering down at them.
Okay.
But they don't seem to notice the owl that just
I'll be damned.
And it's because your owl at your behest is sort of being really quiet.
Yeah. He's used to sneaking around with me. We've
Whatever
done this
his
a time
name
or two.
is.
I'm sorry.
How'd you know?
I'll come up with something. I have names for like all my other familiars. I can't keep reusing them.
Don't you have one that we used at Comic-Con?
Well, yeah, but I mean...
You don't want that one?
No,
Okay.
I want a different name.
Okay.
Thanks, though. Yeah, well then I will just use my sort of link to him to listen in.
Okay.
That's all I wanted.
Okay. So what you do is you link in to your owl. You're jacked in. And as you are looking through his bird eyes and listening in on this conversation, you can hear that the Green Dragonborn is getting right to business. He is saying, "Today, I will do my best to find them. It hasn't been very long. A day and a half, maybe. They still have a chance, I think." And then the village elder comes back with, "Well, Zrax, anything you could do to keep the people's mind at ease. People are starting to worry, and they're thinking that those that are lost are gone for good, and your scouts haven't come back." And then Zrax, I said his name, fuck. The Dragonborn man.
Said his name.
Oh, did I?
You said his name.
Oh, the guy said his name.
I was gonna have to ask you to repeat it because I would just.
Yeah,
I thought
I'm
you said
having...
Rex, and I was like, yeah, Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Dragonborn.
No, talking to yourself is a that's hard.
Yeah. You do it really well, though. I'm really proud of you.
Passingly. Zrax, however, comes back with, "Yes, but if they have not come back yet, that does not bode well." And then Simon, his name is Simon, the elder, asks him, "You don't think the elves have anything to do with this, do you?" And the Dragonborn says, "I do not think so. I do not think they would have hurt the villagers as well. My scouts are one thing, but the people of Inundar? No, probably not." And this is sort of what you hear in this time frame.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did I notice everyone's favorite information delivery hub, a tavern, on my wanderings through the town?
You noticed that it was actually on the far side
Okay.
of where you were at.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you'd probably have to walk through town or outskirts to get to it.
So just to clarify the information that I would have gathered from this bit of a conversation.
There are people missing.
There are people missing.
And there's also a group of scouts.
Both scouts and a group of people from the town.
From Inundar, yeah.
Were they, I guess, I didn't necessarily hear them specify if they were together, if they disappeared at the same time, or if this was two separate disappearances?
You get the sense that it's two separate disappearances.
Okay.
The scouts went looking for the people and never came back.
Gotcha.
And it's been about a day and a half.
Yes, I got that part.
Right.
I'm taking notes. I'm an obsessive note taker.
Pages and pages of notes. So many goddamn notes.
It's really useful. Don't let him fool you. We have campaigns where he's used my notes. Group of villagers has gone missing, as well as the scouts sent to find them. Okay. I would like to just poof my familiar out. It's been real. Thanks for the info. And perhaps go and try to learn more about this. If I could, debating the wisdom of going into tavern dressed as I am, but I can either do that or I can talk directly to someone about what's going on. You know what? I'd like to wait and see if that Dragonborn leaves this guy's house and
Okay.
Try to talk to the elder if I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is not what I'm going to do.
I mean, you know me. I don't plan for any of this. Yeah. It takes about 9 minutes. And the Dragonborn ends up stepping out of the priest's home. So would you like to go in?
I'd like to wait for the Dragonborn to clear the vicinity.
Right. Yeah, no,
And
he
then-
clears. He clears.
Go take a knock.
You knock.
Yeah.
Okay. the door opens shortly after, and you are greeted by the face of a very old-looking man, sort of gravity-worn face, sort of onion sprout hair.
Sprout hair.
Yeah, like just little bits of
Okay.
onion or hair. His hair onions growing. Stop it.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Little bits of hair, large ears, and he looks up to you from under these bushy eyebrows, and he goes, "Oh, an elf. How can I help you?"
Does he look nervous?
He's a little nervous.
Okay. No need to worry. I hear people have gone missing.
Yes, they have. A few of our residents went missing as they were out gathering. Why are you at my door?
Well, I don't want anyone to assume that the elves had anything to do with it. And so I wanted to offer my help in finding them.
Did the elves... Were you sent here?
No, I am on my own. I am headed to the Riverlands. And I thought I might offer my help as a gesture of goodwill on my way through.
Roll me persuasion. You better hope your dice are going to roll well for you.
Could I do deception instead?
You can roll... Oh, are you deceiving him? Sure. Go for it. You're actively lying to the man.
Yeah, that's a 16.
Nice. Okay. 16 is... That's good enough for this
Okay.
check.
I'm not really doing it as a gesture of goodwill. I'm doing it to see what more is going on here.
I see.
Okay.
Clever girl. Okay. Yeah, he goes, "Well, I guess it can't hurt to tell you more. Please, come in." And then he holds the door open for you as you sort of slip inside past him, and then he looks out of his door, sort of checking to see if anyone else noticed you coming into his home, and then he closes the door behind him.
Okay, interesting.
And then you guys both make your way to his table, as you're sort of... Where is your owl still with you?
No, he's dismissed at the moment.
Oh, he's dismissed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just poofed him out.
His Pokeball, his pocket
Yeah.
dimension Pokeball.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sit down, and the old man folds his hands together, and he looks at you from under a questioning eyebrow. You certainly don't get the sense that this man is not... Like, he certainly seems cleverer than his age lets on. And so he looks at you, and he says, "You know, we don't get very many elves here just wanting to sprinkle their good faith over the town of Inundar."
They don't have much good faith to sprinkle.
That's fair, I guess. Well, I'm certainly not going to turn away your help, and you could probably be more useful than those dragonborns are.
It definitely makes a low scoffing sound.
He sort of like looks at you with like a reproaching sort of glare, but it's more like, well, I guess he says it. Then he says, "I just trust that you know the wood better than they do. Not that they're bad or anything, or even terrible scouts. They don't know this area as much as you do. Well, yes. Let me tell you what happened. It was 2 days ago, and some villages of Inundar went missing. We don't know what happened to them or where they went, and the Dragonborn offered to send out some scouts, and those scouts have not come back. If you could do anything to help this matter, it would be greatly appreciated. Especially if you could return our villagers and the Dragonborn scouts."
Where did you say the people were going?
They were out in the Merwood gathering.
Well, that was not wise.
I mean, it's not every day that people disappear from Inundar, and most of our people do well to take precautions as they go out.
Was it just common folk. Wasn't anyone notable or...
Let me check my notes, young lady. Puts on his spectacles, looks at his notes.
Pulls up a bunch of index cards, current missing people.
Where did I put those? Yeah, it was a few women and children who went out. They didn't even go that far. He said that sort of like their last, or he believed their last known location was like maybe half a mile from the village. Mm-hmm. And then they just didn't come back. And there was also 2 men at least with them, who were both armed. So they sort of thought that was enough. They are aware of the dangers of the Merwood, but typically areas around Inundar, especially ones that have been logged, mm-hmm. and he gives you all this information, especially ones that they've sort of logged, aren't as dangerous, mm-hmm. just because they have better line of sight and things like that.
They're more familiar with them. And...
Right. So yeah, and then the Dragonborn scouts went out after that.
So loud.
And they didn't come back either. And they went out about like a half a day of the villagers being missing. So it didn't take long for them to send the scouts. And the Dragonborns offered that of their own, goodwill, essentially.
Interesting. Who was the first to be alerted that people were missing?
The first? Well, I mean, it was son of the miller in town, and he sort of discovered that his daughter was still out and she had not come home, and with his mother and her mother, and then he came to me, of course. And then I talked with Zrax, captain of the Dragonborn soldiers, and he's offered to send out some scouts to find them. Because we don't have any formal militia of our own or any men. We have a few men who are hunters, but mm-hmm. I'd much rather prefer to send out someone else's men than my own first.
Well then, who should I talk to find out where they went?
Well, you could talk to the miller. The son of the miller, I mean.
Very well.
His name is Eric Brackenwood.
Nice, I like that name.
You can talk to Eric Brackenwood. His daughter and wife went missing, so it's a sensitive subject. Be careful with him.
Would you be willing to send me with some sort of... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, proof that I'm doing this to help you. So I find it...
That's a good point. I'll just go with you. It might work best if we do it that way.
Unlikely that he will believe me.
You are not mistaken.
Cool. Well...
If you have any way of...
No.
You just are very plainly an elf from the Merwood.
And you are very plainly an old man who believes the sun is a god. Let's go visit the miller.
All right, I won't argue. So you guys step out of his doorway, and you guys walk straight through town. Mm-hmm. At this point, there's no chance of you really concealing your presence.
No, that's fine.
You get a lot of looks, right? You even hear a few people sort of ask the village elder, like, "Hey, what's she doing here? Why'd you bring an elf in here?" And he sort of has to placate them and calm them down before you guys are able to move on. Mm-hmm. And even the Dragonborn especially, they look at you with sort of confrontational glares. You expect that they almost like they want to do something, but they can't. However, you're led on through without being, intercepted or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And you guys eventually make it to the door of the miller, and you knock on his door, and a man answers it. This man, he's got sort of dusty brown hair, strong face, green eyes, but overall just very plain looking villager. And Simon says, "Eric, I know how this looks."
Simon says,
Wow, Boo. It's supposed to be cereal time.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Serious elf.
I know how this looks. And then Eric sort of looks at you because from what you gathered in their conversation is that a lot of people think that elves did it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes, Simon, I don't understand. Why'd you bring this woman here? And then Simon says, God damn it. No, I should just avoid that phrase. He responds with...
I wrote it for you. I'm so
You
sorry.
did. You totally did. He responds with, well, you see, she's offered to help so that she might be able to track down the missing people, your child and wife. And then you can see as his sort of expression softens. And Eric then sort of nods and opens the door wider and asks you guys to come in. And so you go and you sit around. He lets you know that essentially the location from where they were lost was about half a mile upriver, north of town, of course. And that they shouldn't have strayed very far from the water's edge.
Okay.
He said they had a couple of the people that he knew that were in that sort of that group. It wasn't a very large group. It was about maybe 4 people. His wife and daughter among them. And then 4 people plus the two guys that were guarding.
Gotcha. Then, you want to give me one of those? You're just back there eating the candy and you're not sharing.
Sorry. I apologize.
Simon says share the candy, goddammit.
You better stop.
Okay. Well then, he tells me that.
Hey, will you scroll down? Let me see.
Oh yeah, sorry. I can see it all over here. I apologize, you cannot see that.
That's fair. Wow. You wasted a wish spell? Dang. That's intense.
Oof. Ouch.
Our condolences. Wasting a wish spell. It's terrible.
Yeah, let's respond to that like 20 minutes late. It's okay.
By the way, if you guys are watching, we'd love it if you stick around to the end. There's going to be some awesome stuff in store for you. By the way, what time is it?
It's 7 o'clock. I'm going for an hour.
Okay. We should probably...
Because we got started.
Right. We should probably take a break here soon, like in 30 minutes, okay?
Okay. Works for me. We'll take a little intermission, 30 minutes or so. Bathroom breaks.
Well, the intermission will be 10 minutes in 30 minutes.
Math.
Okay, so...
Before we leave, and because I probably won't have the elder come with me beyond this point, I just tell them, like, do you know... I doubt you know much of elven customs, but elves
Your
who leave...
people don't talk to us, typically.
I'm aware. Elves who leave the Merwood are not welcomed back. So, I'm not doing this. I haven't been sent here for any nefarious purpose. I have left and I won't be going back. So, I offer you this help on my way out to hopefully soothe some tensions between you and the elves at the moment so you don't retaliate against them for what I don't believe they've done.
Well, that's very generous of you. If you can find those people, we would be forever indebted to you, and we'd certainly make sure that the town understands that this was not the doing of the elves.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And then you two part ways. Are you going to go into the Merwood right now, or are you going to do anything else?
Was there anything else I needed, any other information I needed to get from people in town? Because I don't necessarily care to talk to the Dragonborn. I was just going to track their people, because I assume the Dragonborn are going to leave more obvious tracks through the forest
totally.
than everybody else, so I was just going to see what I came across of the people in the forest, because I'd rather either earn their ire or goodwill based on what I bring back, rather than
Totally.
ruin it now.
Yeah, I mean, It's up to you if you want to go back to the village and talk to more people, but otherwise you have a clear heading of where you need to go and what you need to do.
Then yeah, I would like to head into the back into the Merwood.
Okay. All right. You start trekking into the Merwood. What are you looking for at first?
I would like to... You said they were headed upriver. When you pointed me like the typical path they take.
Yeah.
Then I would like to start there. And
Okay.
look first for Dragonborn tracks to see if they followed the same path.
Okay.
And lacking any of those, look for the tracks of women and children and a few armed men.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okie dokie.
So this whole area is pretty shaded, just so you know. It's all just considered dim lights.
12.
Okay. Because in the Merwood, the trees are massive for the most part. On the edge of the Merwood, they're a lot smaller than what even you're used to. You're used to these megalithic tree structures. And so, but as you go along, these trees, which are still pretty big in size, you walk along the path that at first just sort of butts up right against the river. And then it sort of has to weave its way away from it and back to it and away from it. And then you have to go up some terrain, over some sort of cliff edges, outcroppings and stuff, as you begin to climb back your way through the Merwood. And as you're going, you definitely notice some sparse tracks here and there. You don't get the path the whole time that they went on. But eventually, you do arrive at a spot that it seems like there might have been like some sort of scuffle here. You see some torn fabric and like some pieces of hair, but they're very small and they were hard to detect even for you. And it actually took you quite a while to do this, just because you spent a lot of time looking, because that was sort of the nature of the check. You know, I'm not gonna let you fail it because
Just how long it took.
It just took extra long time. So it actually took you about 3 hours.
Okay.
You spent a lot of time searching. Yeah.
Gotcha.
However, you do find some pieces of torn fabric, some pieces of hair. This does not seem like the stuff of the Dragonborn, though. It seems like the stuff of the villagers.
Okay. So then, you said bits of fabric, hair, there was a scuffle, any blood?
You don't notice any blood.
Okay. And, sorry, did you say Dragonborn tracks or no?
No, well, you were following the Dragonborn tracks to this point.
Gotcha.
And actually, the Dragonborn tracks lead away from this point as well.
Okay.
But this you assume was actually where the villagers were probably taken.
Could I possibly... I don't know if I can do another check. Can I compare, like, how old the tracks are?
Sure.
Like, if I can tell if, like, the Dragonborn tracks went over the top of the existing scuffle, or if they happened closer together in time?
No, they like, the tracks of the Dragonborn are more fresh than where the scuffle happened, definitely.
Well, then I will follow wherever the tracks go next, and possibly just take, like, whatever scrap of fabric I found with me.
Okay, cool.
And their tracks continue on downriver, or in a different direction?
Sorry, one more time? I was reading comments.
You're getting distracted. That's what I did too. The Dragonborn tracks, do they continue downriver, like where I expected people to be?
No,
or...
they veer off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
They go like back out like northeast.
Okay. And they're the only tracks that leave here? Then I'll follow those for you.
Okay. No, you know what? That's fine.
And I will pull my familiar back out so that he can help me look.
Yeah. So at this point, it's approaching noon. Okay.
Okay.
So the sun's probably highest in the sky.
Yeah, he has advantage on perception checks rely on hearing or sight. He has a +3 to his perception. Okay.
And you can have him scout ahead and stuff if you'd like.
Yeah. I would like to do that next.
Okay.
So where the Dragonborn tracks lead, have him fly off.
Okay.
Because he's silent.
Give me a perception test with his stuff.
Okay. He has advantage.
Doesn't the Cloak of Elvenkind give you advantage on perception?
No.
Oh, okay, no?
Disadvantage on perception to see me.
Oh, to see
Advantage
you.
on stealth to hide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why they had disadvantage earlier.
Right.
That's kind of... That's
The owl gets advantage on perception?
Yeah, perception for hearing and sight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that is the 17 plus... That's 20 for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well...
Best roll of the night. Fucking hell.
He follows the tracks, and he actually keeps a mental marker of where the tracks were leading, but actually something else catches his eye. A coppery sort of glint of light. Beneath this, because he's actually flying through the trees, he's not flying above the canopy. Yeah. He notices this sort of like tangled mass of rope and vine. And a few of the sunlight's rays that are hitting it are glinting back at him in this sort of coppery hue. Almost like there's something metallic in that mass of vines. It's not very big from what he can see. The size of the mass is like maybe this big. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, I want to say like basketball size actually.
Okay.
That's really a little bit bigger. Yeah. And he notices that also watching from afar and keeping an eye on this tangled mass is a creature, a humanoid creature. A very furry one with a large, just grotesque mace in his hand. Yeah.
He's just watching the...
It's more like he's watching around it. He's maybe waiting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to head towards it, but I'd like to try to skirt around it.
Okay. Around the creature?
Yeah.
Oh, to like come up behind it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay.
You can do so with advantage.
Shit!
Now, since this creature is actively watching, I'm going to have it roll just...
I rolled so poorly.
What'd you roll?
That's a 12.
Why
I
is
rolled
that?
a 1 and a 5.
That's not too bad.
These are going away.
That's not too bad. Because I rolled a 7.
I got really lucky.
Yeah. So this creature doesn't notice you as you sort of make your way behind it.
Okay.
So what'd you like to do? You're now seeing from behind that this creature, from far away, you're about like 35 feet away.
Okay.
You've managed to make a pretty good approach.
Okay.
You notice this is a bugbear.
Oh, neat. Well, I'll go ahead and cast Mage Armor on myself before I get any closer.
Okay.
And...
Your AC is now 16.
Yes. Does Charm Person work on... Does Charm Person work on a bugbear?
Yeah, it works on humanoid creatures.
Humanoid creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So he rolls to save against your DC.
He rolls a
Wisdom, right?
I believe it's Wisdom.
Well.
Yep. Wisdom saving throw.
You ready for the roll, Boo?
Yep. You would only do it with advantage if we were fighting it, so it's just a normal roll.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, you rolled well?
No, I rolled a 4.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh.
How does this work?
I
want you to determine the nature of the charm.
Yeah, like I cast it and it's like this low, creeping fog that just sort of like
Can it be glitter and pink?
No.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Nice try though. It just sort of like moves along the ground like a sentient thing and just sort of like climbs up him and like because he's not seeing it, so it just sort of clings to him like that episode of, I don't know if you've seen that episode of Doctor Who where she's got the like bug on her back that she doesn't know about. Like it's really creepy. There's people who probably know about that. It's the when Donna was the companion. There's this whole episode.
All right, come on.
But it just like clings to him like a living thing.
Oh, okay.
For the duration of the charm, but he doesn't know it's there.
So it sort of clings to him, wraps itself around his scalp and his little bugbear ears. And then he like looks up because obviously he feels the difference.
Yeah, and as I like feel it settle in, I just stand up and saunter out.
You do so.
Yeah.
And he looks at you, at first sort of like confused, but then like, yeah, you're my best friend.
High five.
No, he just like waves at you.
Waves at you.
Hey.
What's in the pile?
Yeah, thing, shiny. Attracts people.
Oh.
Or club them.
You gotten anybody yet?
Not yet. Waiting.
You gotten anybody recently?
No.
You gotten anybody ever?
Waiting.
Huh. What is it?
You wait with me.
You want to show me what it is?
Oh, yeah. Come see. And he sort of, beckons you to come with him with his pointed claw, and you guys both go over to the tangle of vines, and he begins pulling the vines out, and you see this contraption. It's you see the body of it, and it's bulbous, but you see that it's in the shape of a spider, and it has these 8 arms, these limbs that are sort of they look armored in a sense. They're not as like skinny and light as typical spider legs would be, and they're sort of like they come down in pincer points, and it has like these 2 little sort of ocular devices that whoop, look out at you, and it sort of tilts its head up at you because it is very much active, and it has this
some sort of spider automaton thing.
Yeah, totally. And inset on the back of it is this gem that is glowing to life with this sort of purplish arcane energy. That sort of, you can actually feel it because you're trained in the arcane arts, but it's like thrumming with life. And this is what sort of, you guess, powers the creature. But other than that, you have no other idea how it works. Only that it like recognizes you. It looks at you. Whoop.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it like...
Lost in the woods. Found it. Shiny. People like shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it like tangled up in the stuff? Like
it is. It's tangled up a little bit. That's restricting its movements. It's normally like its pincers are, and where it bends on its appendages, those are sort of tangled up. Most of its body is sort of free, so that it can sort of shine.
Interesting. What's your name again?
Bruce. You asked for a name.
I have an idea. You let me take the shiny.
Yeah.
You want a way to...
Wait, what?
I have an idea for you. You want a way to lure people in?
Yeah.
You know what lures people in the forest in better than anything else? Is an injured traveler. You just lay down like you've fallen. Yeah. You let them get right up to you. And then you can attack them. They'll come to help you, worried about you. Works every time.
Give me a persuasion check. I'm going to roll this against his insight.
Shit!
What'd you get?
I got a 10.
I got a nat 1. I'm going to start rolling that dice.
Oh, man. I can't believe it. I'm just gonna...
He seems to like your idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much and so, he says, yeah. And then he just begins to look around at the wood, and then he looks at the ground, and he picks up some dirt and smears it all over his face, and then he slowly crawls and gets on the ground, and he looks, he's like, yeah, this'll work. Yeah. What are you doing?
I'd like to untangle the spider creature from...
How long does charm person last?
An hour.
Oh, an hour?
Yep.
Jeez, okay. All right. Well, he's your thrall then. Yeah, you untangled this thing. Go ahead and give me a perception test, Boo.
Okay. Perception. Let's see. Don't fail me. That's a 2!
Okay. This
That's
just
a
takes you
7
more time.
total.
Okay, this just takes you more time. As you're sort of trying to get it out and you're exploring this creature, I mean, it takes you a lot longer than you want it to. The thing doesn't actively resist you, but it's sort of like, and it pulls like its limbs out of the way, as if trying to avoid like something like a predator.
If I'm talking to it the whole time, does it seem to respond to me talking to it?
Yeah, totally. It actually understands you, it seems.
Interesting.
You do find a maker's mark on it.
Okay.
Etched into the bottom of one of its like pincer limbs. You see it says Chomsky, comma gnome.
Oh my god.
And then below that is written Arachnid 6. But 6 is VI.
I love this.
Yeah. And it's just like looking up at you, and you can't help but feel like its eyes are like really cute. You
Does
know,
it have like a whole bunch of spider eyes?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like the but they're big and they're mechanical, you know? They look adorable in a weird way.
Yeah, while I'm trying to get it out, like I'll talk to it. I want to ask it, you know, does it... Do you eat? Like, what do you do? Like, just sort of idly talking to it, you know?
So, as you ask what it does, you actually manage to pull off one of the last bits of vine holding it back. And it then immediately launches itself off its back legs, goes like 60 feet, and just lands on a tree, right? And then it like spins around, ting, 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 ting. And as it does, it then aims its little butt at another tree, and then you see some like wire come out, like this like strong as steel wire just come around and wrap itself around one of the branches, and then it swings back down towards you and like clink lands in the bark of the tree, just its pincers just like grappling into it and just digging themselves into the bark, and then it just, and then you can also see what it produces from like its two top pincers is what looks like to be a lot of like sort of thieves' tools almost. Like things to like pick a lock and...
I'm immediately buying a little like slidey thing. How to use the spiders slide into places.
Oh, like a little hang
it.
glider
like,
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
It's
about.
got a name. And
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's just immediately what I'm picturing.
Here you go. There's
I
your
will love
first
him
party
forever.
member of the campaign.
This is the dopest shit ever.
You should check out what he can do.
Yeah, well...
A lot of these things will take your character time to get actually familiar with, but those are just the stats. Those are everything that he can do.
Well, as soon as he's free, I'm gonna, like, turn back to the bugbear. I'm gonna use prestidigitation to make it look like he's got, like, a head wound. I'm gonna be like...
You're helping out the bugbear?
You've got this. And I'm gonna leave.
Oh. Whoa! Ah!
I'm gonna make note of where he is, and there's a bugbear trying to ambush people here.
Okay. Cool.
But I'm gonna just let him keep doing what he's
Sure.
doing.
Totally. That's how you solve conflicts non-violently. That's what we're all about
by
here.
letting bugbears solve your problems for you.
Apparently, you just charm the pants off them.
Yeah. What? It can pull off its own back legs. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yes. So that little jump it demonstrated for you has enough force that there is a percentage chance every time it uses it to accidentally blow off one of its back legs.
In case anyone was wondering, Casey likes spiders.
Maybe just a little bit.
I love him. I will cherish him deeply.
Oh my, yes. Exactly. Bruce the Hunter. Spider pet.
Spider pet. I love him. All right.
You gotta have like a cute, weird mechanical companion.
How big is he? Like,
Okay, so yeah, so like if you were to hold him, he'd be pretty big.
he'd probably be pretty heavy.
Oh yeah, he's
Like,
a chunker.
I can't pick him up.
You can pick him up.
Oh.
Yeah, totally. He's not that
My
heavy.
strength of 8?
I mean, if you can lift up something that's
get
like
my knees
a
into it.
40-pound bag,
Okay.
but it's not, it also his weight is pretty like well distributed among
He
him.
can kind of tuck his little spider legs.
He can
in.
actually. He can clink clink clink, and you can actually just tuck him, and then he actually becomes smaller when he brings all of his appendages in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Love him.
You get the sense that he was, especially once those like thieves tools came out, you get the sense that he was designed with like a specific purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, this is like, since you lived in the Merwood all your life, you've never seen anything like this. No one. Well, actually, some gnomes in the Merwood do this, but to a lot lower degree.
Yeah,
They
not
tinker.
to this extent of like
And they don't build life.
an almost like a magically sentient clockwork creature.
Yeah.
He's dope as fuck. And he's gonna need another name. No,
He
two
will.
things that need names.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you wanna take our intermission?
Oh yes. So
It's about
after
that time.
acquiring Spider Pet, we're gonna go ahead and take a 10-minute break. We will be right back after this short intermission.
Sound is back.
We are back.
We are back. I'll type it over here because I don't have a keyboard over here. Yeah, we like the setup. It's a very small room, but we're making it work.
Yeah, really small.
Spider briefcase. See, the funny
George.
thing is, spider
George.
briefcase can actually carry things. You can steal things and then carry them away.
Spider George.
Spider thief.
Jorge the
Spider
spider.
thief. Does
Uncle
whatever
Jorge.
a spider thief does.
Really? Are you out of M&Ms over there?
No.
You
I'm just
monster.
refilling.
Oh, class, race. I am playing a high elf. We're actually doing Gestalt. So
Yeah.
I am leveling up 2 classes at the same time. Because I am playing by myself, so it gives me a little more combat versatility. So I am playing both wizard and rogue.
I've made her specifically overpowered.
So that I am viable by myself.
Yeah. And in fact, her rogue archetype is, because she's starting at level 3, her rogue archetype is a homebrew that I made up. It
We can.
connects into her background, which you'll find out more about that later, and
Yeah.
her abilities and what they do. They're interesting, and they help her sort of do some crowd control, as well as sort of perform, during travel and stuff to locate things better. Because clearly her dice rolls are amazing, and I didn't give her things to give her advantage so that her dice rolls could maybe have the chance of being better.
I normally roll better. Anyway. I think we're ready. Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for watching. This
That's
is
cool.
it's
Means
just
a lot.
cool. Yeah, it's fun to have people watching and interacting. We have a lot of plans for this story. I definitely want to make it a story that, and with Haley's help, of course, make it a story that it just would be fun to tune into and fun to watch and dramatic and have high points, low points, comic relief, things like that. So.
No shortage of comic relief.
What'd you say?
I said no shortage of comic
Yeah,
relief.
no shortage of that. We clearly cannot stop from fucking around. I mean, goofing off. Is your brother still watching?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think so. He couldn't get it to load.
Fucking around.
Well, in that case.
Well,
Alrighty. Oh no, look, oh no, he followed me.
oh, okay.
Activity feed, yeah. Yeah.
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Do you happen to have an eraser over there, by the way? Because I grabbed the pencil, it doesn't have one. Thank you. So many pages now.
We get back to our quest where you
Yes.
had just recently charmed a bugbear into believing that he should just lay on the ground and wait for people to come to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a gullible bugbear.
Mm-hmm.
He's a go with
They
it,
don't have like
bugbear.
terrible intelligence either, but whatever.
You just rolled perfectly poorly. For
I
that.
did. I rolled a nat 1.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
well,
Except for all my single digits.
you now found a mechanical friend who was taken to you. and certainly seems to think that roaming with you rather than being the captive of a bugbear is definitely a better idea. So he begins to travel with you and your new companion, and you both continue using your familiar, your owl, to locate the tracks that he had sort of marked mentally, and you get back to the job of following those Dragonborn tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
how do you want to proceed?
Like, how do I want to continue tracking, or like?
Yeah.
I'd like to continue using both the owl and myself, to look ahead.
Okay.
Have him fly through and, again, scout as far ahead as he can until he sees something notable.
Okay.
Because that worked fairly well.
Right. So he flies. Go ahead and give me another perception test. Roll some different dice, man. Well, no, I didn't say
Yeah, that actually rolled really well, but I'll take the other one. It's an 8, 9, 11.
11.
Yeah.
So this just takes again more time.
Mm-hmm.
This time it takes your owl about, as you guys walk with him, you and your new mechanical friend, you guys walk together for about another hour, until your owl spots something, another glinting object. This time it sort of glints back silvery in the sunlight that's patching through the forest canopy, and you follow it. Oh, are we down?
Find out in a moment.
Can you check on there? Maybe ask.
Well, it's still counting our session time, so I think we're good.
You think so?
I mean, this is still saying that we are actively recording because it counts our timestamp.
Okay. Well, if we're not actually recording right now, can you let us know, please? That'd be awesome, because we are new to this.
We also will have a recording afterwards, so we'll have a complete YouTube video later.
Right.
But for the sake of the stream, I'm sorry it's not working.
We're sorry. So what your owl ends up finding
Yes.
is they spot a sort of glint. And as you arrive at this location, you see this is sort of where another scuffle happened.
Mm-hmm.
This time a much this was the site of
So it did go down.
oh, it did?
There's a network error. Please try again. All right, let's see here.
We're still streaming, so
Yeah. Give us a moment. It says we are offline.
last time it just came up after a while.
Yeah. It should come back up, yeah, because the current stream chat is gone.
Damn it. That was the first pouch of the night. I've been doing so well.
Alright, there we go. I think
We're back?
Yay!
Yay! Yay! It is really hot in this room, by the way. I should not have worn this shirt.
Nope.
Like these bright lights.
Yeah.
Woo! We're back.
Alright.
Okay.
We spotted a glint, signs of a scuffle.
Her owl spotted a glint. She has now discovered a patch in the ground where there was much more of a struggle than what she had seen before. This time, you see that the ground is dotted with some patches of like black blood. You see a chopped off spider leg.
Oh.
A big one. You see some webbing sort of strewn across the ground, and then there's a dagger that was dug into the dirt.
I'm
And then-
immediately having less fun now.
You see drag marks. Full body drag marks. Like essentially, whomever had fallen here, and you assume the Dragonborn, because this is where their tracks end.
Mm-hmm.
They were dragged away
All
from
of
here.
them?
All of them. There was 4 of them.
Do I see people tracks that go beyond this?
No. You see pincer tracks. Yeah.
Well, I Guess I'll track the spiders. You said there was a dagger like left in the ground.
Yeah, it was like dug into the dirt.
I'll pick that up too.
Okay. You notice that the hilt is definitely of dragonborn make.
Okay. And yeah. Just double check in. Yeah, I will keep going, and I will go ahead and just investigate myself, rather than using the owl
Okay.
from here on out.
Okay. So you're gonna investigate. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Yeah, you know, let's roll with those when you're like tracking things.
Yeah.
That's better than just doing straight up.
Yay! That's really good.
Really good?
Yeah. That's
Finally.
24.
24?
I rolled an 18.
Damn, girl. All right. Well, you. It doesn't take you much longer this time. You sort of sense some urgency. You're kind of familiar with the spiders of the Merwood. You know that there are certain groups of particularly nasty spiders that definitely...
All spiders.
Well, no, these ones in particular hunt for the flesh of men.
Oh.
And women.
Wow.
All flesh.
Yeah.
Just flesh. And a lot of the elves seem to think that they're sort of corrupted by the power of the scourge from long ago. These spiders are typically known as Gorum spiders. They're named after a certain archdevil that exists in a far-off plane.
What were they called again?
The Gorum spiders.
Want to spell that for me?
Gorum. Gorum.
Exactly how it sounds.
Yes.
Alright.
So,
Oh yeah.
you eventually you rush off as you begin to follow these tracks very quickly because you know that these Gorum spiders like to toy with their prey. They don't always eat them immediately. Most of the time they sort of inject them with these things that help digest them from the inside out. So when they do end up tearing into their flesh, it's a lot easier for them and a lot tastier.
This is so gross.
You end up coming upon the sort of yawning mouth of a cave entrance. And you are fairly certain that just beyond this cave entrance are both the people that you're looking for and potentially some dangerous spiders.
Cool. I would... Because I can see...
You see that? Yeah, that's the solution. Just burn down the whole
just
forest.
done.
Yeah. Take a long time.
Okay. I guess how... I can see a distance in...
You can see a distance in.
Yeah.
You can see about 60 feet in, and you don't see the end of the cave yet. So yeah.
But the drag marks continue.
They
Do
continue
I
inside.
hear anything from out here? Or is it just silent?
Give me a perception test. This is going to be a little hard.
Well, perception is... That's a 23.
23? Wow, okay.
I'm rolling this dice now.
Yeah. It doesn't seem that... You definitely hear some skittering inside. Nothing really humanoid. Definitely this sounds like the skittering of sort of, large pincer-like, legs.
Cool. I'm thrilled.
But they don't seem to be coming towards you. They seem to be working maybe a short distance from the end of your sight. Is sort of how your ears and your eyes connect that sound together.
Gotcha. Well then, I will summon my familiar and have him follow in with me to see what he sees as well in here.
Okay.
But, yeah, I want to be sneaky until I can see what's in here.
Okay.
Ideally.
Roll me a stealth.
Okay.
Don't you get advantage?
I get advantage on stealth checks made to hide. So, like, if I'm going to go hide, I think
if you're going to use the hide action specifically.
But if I'm just trying to be sneaky, they do have disadvantage to see me in general.
Oh, okay.
So
what was your stealth?
Really good.
Okay. Wow, that dice is working for you. You do not want to be seen by these spiders.
Nope, 24.
24.
No, 23. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to use their passive perception because they're not necessarily searching for you.
Okay.
They're sort of going about whatever they're doing.
Okay.
So you definitely remain undetected. Your owl on your shoulder. What's little uncanny spider doing?
Can he climb just like any other spider?
Just check out his stats.
Yeah.
He can. He totally can.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put that on there. I might need to revise it, but.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically springing launch.
No, that's fine. He can spider climb. He actually no. He has a climbing speed.
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Climbing speed 20 feet. Cool. I want him to go on the ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ting, ting, ting. Roll a stealth check for him too.
He's great at stealth. And I rolled really well. That's 21.
Okay. Yeah. You begin to like his little ting 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 ting. They fade off. You don't hear him anymore.
Nice.
And you notice that as he sort of enters into sort of the shadow of the cave, you notice that his like the color of his like exterior darkens. Yeah.
I love him so much. Okay, cool. Well then, sneak in and see what.
You're sneaking.
Yeah. What do I like?
You get in about 30 feet to where you can now see sort of the edge of the cavern. This whole thing is about 90 feet wide. About another 40 feet, 90 feet across, about 30 feet wide. And you do see webs strewn out all along the walls. These very thick, viscous webs.
That's a great idea. Learn silence and cast it on him. Silent.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, you
see webs and
you see these like grotesque webs. No natural spider of the forest. That's just simply hunting would ever create this thick, viscous, viney, tendrily sort of tangle of web. And you see that stuck in them are these large cocoon-like shapes where you can see sort of some of them have a little web drawn back over their cheekbones, and you see these, you see human faces, and then you also see dragonborn faces. The dragonborns are placed over on sort of the left side of you, while the humans are placed over on the right side of you. Two of those humans, the bigger ones, have already been totally devoured out. You see in the cocoon is sort of this hollowed out section where you can still see sort of the edges of ribs and organs that were half devoured by the spiders. And you do see where they're beginning to work on one of the dragonborn. One's like rearing back with its large sort of stinger on the end of its butt, and you think it's about to like rip into this guy.
How many spiders are in there that I can see?
There are 2 giant spiders.
2 big ol' spooters.
Yeah.
And
they are not natural looking.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of this sort of scabby growth along their backside, along their torso. And then on their large butts, again, are these sort of scabby, disgusting-like growths.
Then
you can tell these creatures are definitely like corrupted by some sort of influence that has been in the Merwood for some time.
I would like to activate my Twilight Eyes now that I'm in here.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like, gross. So yeah, just sort of blink, close my eyes for a second and open them again, and they're just have a slight silvery shine.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Like almost like moon? Like
yeah, like if you were to watch her eyes track, like they'd leave little tracks in the air.
Little like trails.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
And in her vision, now
Everything's colored.
everything's colored.
Yeah.
It's not black and white anymore. But also, I guess the spiders and the people on the walls would be outlined. So they're all sort of like backlit in this, like, I don't know, almost
like a neon glow. It's like very much like a fairy fire effect.
Yeah, like I'm picturing like a green sort of halo around them.
Okay. So the homebrew rogue ability that she has is she can essentially, her eyes will glow, and when they glow, they help her to see better in the dark, much better. She actually has 90 feet of dark vision now. Any creature she knows the location of is outlined in a glow. She can also she also has advantage on investigation checks, and so this is sort of what these eyes do for her. Is they allow her to perform pretty much more better than other creatures could in the darkness. And in fact, she no longer sees in shades of gray; she sees in shades of color. She's
Shades of color.
not
full
even
color.
shades, full color,
Yeah.
and the color is actually really vibrant. Almost like she turned the sharpness up on like the color on the TV.
Thank you.
Boom. You don't deserve those. You got to kill the spiders first.
You can give me those African spiders too.
Okay.
Alright. Well, I'm just going.
What do you mean you're just going?
Well, I'm trying to decide what the spider can do too. I'm sorry.
So the spider, now, while being cool as shit, is not totally capable. It's not the best in combat.
Yeah.
It might serve you better to sort of leave him out until you need him.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking at, and looking at things he can do to balance things out. Well then, I am going to How far away are they from me?
At this point, they're like 40 feet.
Okay. Well, that's just the right distance. I'm gonna pull out my blade and
Okay.
activate my blade song
Oh, wow.
and go in. I'm going
You're
in.
just going in?
I don't know, like what? I don't know what else.
Are you going in stealthy?
Yeah,
Because you are a rogue.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I'd like to go in.
So as a wizard, she's also a blade singer.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to. I just wanted to like activate the blade song first, so
Okay.
I don't have to like
Yeah.
spin that in the turn order.
Gotcha.
But yeah, activate that and then.
So remember,
my
both
way
of
in.
these spiders, one is sort of like above this dragonborn, like sort of looking down over his face. The other one is like his pincers are surrounding him, sort of caging him in, and he's rearing up his butt to go.
Cool. Then I would like to sneak in and like just put a big long slash into him. With
Okay.
with my long
Into one of these?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead. Roll me an attack with advantage.
Okay.
Oh wait. No. Roll. One.
Okay. That's 2 6s.
2 6s for the attack.
Yeah. That's
So-
a 12 to hit.
Unfortunately, that is a miss.
God damn it.
You feel the sort of blade shake in your hand as you're approaching these creatures to try to fight them and kill them, but their size and their presence is intimidating. And you go to make a stab, and as you do, the one that was rearing up notices you and flicks around immediately and is now it's now looking down at you. Let's roll initiative.
Alright.
I'm gonna roll for the spides.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a 15 for me.
I got a 20 and a 1.
Oh, well, that's cool. Do you want the spider to roll initiative too?
I'd like and you're familiar.
Okay. Spider did great, of course. That's a 19 for him. And yeah, everybody rolls better than me. I think that's a 15 for my familiar. I need to have its like the forms I
have
use
it.
most often. For what?
I can find your owl. His dex is +1.
So it's a 14. That was
14?
+2. Yeah.
So then is yours higher than his? Yours was 15, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 14, 15, 19 on...
So since these are all your companions and you control all of them, since their initiatives are right next to yours, you can go ahead and choose which one of you goes first and second and third.
Oh, well...
Because it would be like if you held an action, you waited for one of them to go.
Okay.
So since these are all your guys, you can sort of shift the initiative
Since
order.
we're all right, and the spider is on either end.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright.
Okay.
Whose turn is it?
It is
Spider.
Spidey's.
Yeah.
So that giant spider that spun around and looked at you, it actually skitters up right above you before immediately just like sort of looking down at you and then dropping right on top of you. He's gonna go ahead and try to make a grapple check against you.
Oh.
I'd like you to roll me an acrobatics check.
15?
I got a 17.
Oh, fuck.
So he pounces right on top of you and locks you down under him. So he only gets one attack, so that will be his attack. He is now successfully grappled. You were literally under this thing, sprawled out on your back.
Cool.
So you were both prone and you were grappled. So now it is either yours, your arachnids, or your owl's turn. But once you set the initiative order, just keep with that, okay?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I will just go.
Okay.
Can I Misty Step out from underneath it?
You totally can.
Okay. Yeah, then I am gonna do that.
Misty Step does not in any way, shape, or form
Require an actual step.
No, if you were restrained and had no use of your hands and stuff, you couldn't do it, but
Yeah.
that's not the nature of this grapple.
Well then yeah, I've probably just got my sword like pushed up against the spider.
Okay.
And I just like
You bamf out of there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where are you going?
right behind it.
Right behind it? Nice. Okay, cool.
And
That was your bonus action.
that's my bonus action. My blade song's already active. So I had advantage on acrobatics checks because my blade song's active. I'll remember that next time.
Yeah, please do.
I'm just reading it again. Well then yeah, I am just gonna attack at him.
It is a mix of infrared and dark vision.
Yeah.
That's where I got my inspiration is like dark elves or Drow used to have like literal infrared in 3.5. And I was like, that's so cool, especially for like, I don't know, breaching clear shit. And I wish I could do that in this game. But you can't because there's technically no infrared.
Since my familiar was with me, does he count? He was like right in there with the spiders with me. Does that count for my sneak attack?
Yeah, I would say he's next to the creature.
Yeah.
I mean, he sort of flew away, but he's like in the space of it still.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because the spider's not right up on there, so I can't use that. But I went in with the familiar.
Bamf out. You now rear up. Go ahead and roll me an attack.
Okay. It's the same.
It's a 6?
Yep. I
Total?
miss again. No, I rolled a 6 and it's 12 total.
Oh, 12 total. Yeah.
Same
that
as
is
last time.
that
I
is a
missed
miss.
Again.
Your dice are betraying you, boo.
Damn it.
All right. Is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah. I'm gonna... I've already used my bonus action.
Mm-hmm. You can still move.
I can still move.
And your AC is 20 right now.
It is. That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna just hold here.
Okay, you're going to hold here.
Yeah.
You're just going to fight
I'm
him.
gonna just whoosh, whoosh,
Okay.
swinging wildly and missing a fucking barn.
Whose turn is it now?
I think we'll go me, my familiar, the spider.
Okay.
So my familiar's just gonna hold.
Will you scroll down in the chat for me so I can see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Help action to get advantage from familiars is a good idea. And I think it was in the space because basically when the spider landed, it just sort of like flew off her shoulder, but was still in the spider's space. So So what are you gonna do with your owl?
He's just gonna like follow me.
Okay. She's gonna go back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess he'll maneuver, since we're not using any minis for this, he'll maneuver technically around the spider, so not proccing an attack of opportunity.
He actually doesn't prime attack.
Oh, he couldn't anyways.
Because
he's
the
an
owls
owl.
don't. Yeah.
Word.
And then the spider.
Yeah, what's Arachnid 6 doing? He's not been noticed yet.
Yeah. He's not. I mean, he can attack.
He can. He gets multiple attacks too.
Yeah. Sure. Let's have an attack.
Okay.
He can't get close enough though.
Why not?
He only has 30 feet of movement, and they were 40 feet away from us.
Right, but you moved up, and I'm assuming he was moving with you, but
Okay.
above you.
Okay.
And so, yeah, at this point, he's right above you and the other spider. And he can also do, like, a propulsing jump
Well, yeah.
as movement.
Yeah, but if he doesn't need it.
Right.
Then he's just gonna, like, monkey see, monkey do. He saw that one spider, like, crawl across the ceiling and jump up and drop back down. And he's just gonna be like, whoop.
Okay.
And he's gonna drop down and try to make his multi-attack.
Roll me his 2 attacks, please.
Okay. I'll just
Don't
roll
miss,
2
don't
dice.
miss.
That doesn't.
What'd you roll?
I rolled an 8 and a 9. So that's a 13 and a 12.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
Those are
never
both
gonna hit
misses.
these spiders.
Yeah, maybe not.
Alright.
All right. Those are both misses.
It's his movement. It's spider's
Yeah,
turn.
he goes to make an attack, and he lands on the back of it, but the thing begins to shake as it's sort of turning around to get another advantage on you. So now it is the second spider's turn. And it sees you as sort of being the biggest creature. It now leaps down behind you, and it goes to make an attack at you. So it's going to go for a bite. It's a +5 to hit. That's a 19, which is barely a miss.
Yeah.
So it misses. Go ahead. It is now your turn.
No, it's the other spider's turn.
Oh, you're right. It is the other spider's turn. Yeah. So it wings around to make an attack at you. That is a 3. So that is a miss.
We're just missing
We're
like
just
crazy.
whiffing, yeah.
Alright, well, it's my turn now.
Okay. So you have both your spider and your owl right there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna double check, I think.
What?
Dragon's Breath is a bonus action.
It is a bonus action.
Cool. Yeah. Then I am going to... I can't do it on the spider because it has to have a mouth. But I can do it on my familiar. And so I am going to... yeah, I'm gonna just sort of reach up and like land on my hand for a second, and I'll cast Dragon's Breath
Okay.
on him.
Cool.
And
I like
then
that.
He uses his reaction now to do it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Or I thought he just does it on his turn.
Dragon's Breath. Or no, if I do... Sorry, I can... If I have my familiar deliver a touch-based thing, it uses its reaction. It will do it on his turn.
Okay.
Now I remember. So yeah, bonus action to do that, and then I'm gonna just try to swing at him again.
Roll.
Doesn't really matter which one I swing at, because I haven't hit either of them.
Come on, boo.
Yeah.
You're counting that your blade is a +1 weapon?
Oh yeah!
Okay.
Yeah, I've already got that in there. That's a natural 20.
That's a natural 20! Nice!
Cool. That felt really good. Oh, thank God. I'm so sweaty in this room. It's so hot.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even have damage dice out. That's how badly I've been doing. No, I'm rolling my own.
Are you sure?
No, but I'm doing it.
Because the DM's dice probably roll hot, boo.
Yeah, you know. That's a
So you get a D8 and what, like 2D6?
2d6. 5, 10, 12. 24, 28.
28 points of damage total?
28
Did you add your
points of
modifier?
damage total. I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just...
Which one was this? The one that went behind you, or the one that tried to pounce on you?
The one that tried to pounce on
Okay.
me. Yeah. I'm just super frustrated. Like, we've just been, like, skittering across this thing's hide. So, I just, like, sort of duck down and, like, cut up through its, like, the skinny, like, thorax part and just,
wow.
cleave it in half. Like, the whole...
Okay, so basically where
butt
its
part.
thorax meets its butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You just step to the side and you just, whew, and just this, like, it makes this beautiful noise as the sort of blade song every time you swing it.
Weird, almost crunching
It's like
noise
this-
as it just cuts through the exoskeleton, but just doesn't even stop.
No, it
Like,
doesn't stop, and it just hums. Your blade just hums in this, like, sonorous, just beautiful
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that one just immediately just you watch as the life just vanishes. It hits, a lot of its limbs twitch, and will probably continue to do so, but you've killed one. Good
Cool.
job.
And I just, like, flick the spider blood off of
Yeah,
my
the
sword,
black
and I turn
ether.
around to the other one.
All right, now what are you gonna do? It's your owl's turn.
It's my owl's turn. Yeah. My owl's gonna move around it so that it's not...
You never turn on combat music.
God damn it.
I know.
You know what?
I it's okay. I understand.
I'll do it right now.
Combat music's
slacking.
coming, guys. Boom, 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 2020!
Even, like, you know, nice peaceful music, and it's, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want that first one?
Pick whatever.
Anyone? Cool.
Oh, no, not this. No, not this one.
Well, you said pick whatever.
Not epic boss battle. This is not
Cool.
epic boss battle.
Well,
This is
God
just,
damn it.
you know, minor boss. This is like,
Small battle.
this is small battle.
Alright, fine.
This is perfect.
Cool. Alright.
You know?
I don't have, speak with monstrosities, so...
Yeah, in fact, the spider doesn't even speak the same language. It'd be very hard.
I don't
There's
know if it
a
speaks any language.
really difficult communication barrier there.
Yeah.
However, you do have a spider on your team.
I do have a spider
And
on
they
my
might be able to, like, wiggle butts at each other.
Uh-huh.
And that's how they communicate.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop,
In the
whoop,
meantime, my familiar's gonna circle around to...
whoop. Recarnage.
Yeah, not blasting flame onto all of the, like, webbed people
Oh,
against
okay.
the wall.
Okay.
So, because I assume they were all sort of in the same
They're,
general
like,
vicinity.
on the wall, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, like, spaced out by, like, a good 20 or so feet.
But he's gonna move so that they're behind him.
Okay.
And
Whoosh.
just dragon's breath. It has to make a dex save.
Okay, this will catch your spider, your mechanical spider, but he'll get advantage on it.
Okay. That's
So go ahead and roll me his save.
okay. And it
dex
uses
save, you
my
say?
my DC
Which is 14.
14. Yeah, my spider dev's 2 17s. Rolling hot now.
Oh, that was a 4. So that was a 7 total. It definitely does not save.
It does not save.
So it takes what, 3d6?
Going to take 3d6 of fire damage. 4, 8, 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. The flames just wreathe out in this fan and just catches things. It sort of squeals and hisses and now rears up to hopefully attack you. But your little spider is still in its head. You can roll me 2 more attacks for
Cool.
him.
He's gonna try.
Yeah.
He's gonna do his best.
Clink, clink, clink.
He's gonna miss.
Both times?
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. Yeah, he's not suited for combat.
He doesn't know what he's doing, but he's trying.
You might be able to soup him up later on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he tries to make 2 pincer attacks, but as the flames sort of like catch him, it sort of like blows him off the backside, and he lands like right in front of the spider. Ting, 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 ting. Whoop. Okay.
I'm gonna have guns attached to his adventures.
Yeah. Some Gatling gun. Just...
Try to stop me.
Yeah. I named him Arnold.
Yeah, it's the spider's turn.
Yeah. It is indeed the spider's turn. Thanks for reminding me. He's going to make an attack on you.
All right.
Oh, it's cocked. Ooh. That's 19. So this will be a hit.
I'm gonna shield.
How much? What does that raise your AC to?
It adds 5 to it,
Because that's a 24.
so it would make it a 24.
Huh?
No, I mean,
Your
well-
AC become a 25.
Oh, that's right.
So it still wouldn't beat
still
it.
wouldn't hit. It
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm not gonna just let you hit me.
No, that's fair. I didn't want to hit you anyway. All right. Yeah, you manage to ward off that blow. As soon as you throw up this like arcane shield, the pincer just cracks at it and just slips to the ground and just digs deep into it and now has to like pull itself back out. But as it's going to, you're now rearing up for another attack.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Yeah. I kind of want to just hit it with magic missile.
Just,
Yeah.
just right its
I'm gonna
face.
like shield and then just like through the shield blast magic
Whoa.
missile
Do it.
at him.
What
just
it
hits.
hit? They just hit. You just roll the d4s, right?
Yeah.
How many?
3d4.
3?
Right.
I think so.
I think that's right.
Yeah, level 1. I think it's 3d4.
I'm rolling in it.
Just roll 'em.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Damn, that's good.
That's really good actually.
Yeah.
Wait, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 1d4 plus 1 for everyone.
Oh, nice.
So 13.
Okay. You just pelt it with all 3 of your missiles, just right through the shield. You just sort of like fan them out and they just strike at critical points in its body. One like pierces right through its eye and just splats it, and this black acre of blood just like spurts out, but it like pelts your arcane shield, like mud going on your windshield. Yeah, slowly just slides down, and another one just actually rips off one half of its legs. Yeah, so it's in pretty bad shape.
Cool.
It is now your owl's turn.
You can make another dex save because he's still got dragon breath for a minute.
That's a 2! Oh, man, I rolled some better than dex saves.
As long as we're both rolling poorly.
No, I mean, I rolled 19, but you get to do shield, so I need to obviously step up my monsters. Yeah. That's a 5 for the save.
Cool.
So, go ahead and do me damage.
Wow. 8. 13.
13. Your owl just unleashes this unholy gout of flame.
It's like, like how they animate flame, like actual dragon's breath, like where there's just a gap where there's nothing, and the flame just sort of materializes beyond that. Like it's so hot
yeah.
at the origin point that you can't even see it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. And so you see it from that little point, and it just envelops this thing in just a torrent of flame. It's now maneuvered to the side to not catch your other spider. Mm-hmm. And, dude, it bakes this thing. It reduces it to almost ash. You begin to smell the acrid smell of burning flesh. All of its sort of chitinous spider hide is now just becoming flaky and burnt, and you see parts of it just totally coming off and melting and bubbling and popping. And then your owl just maliciously burns it and then stops. And then you see this sort of like filet spider just like right there, just totally man. A burnt crisp.
Love it.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you have defeated the spiders, and there are at least 6 people alive. The Dragonborns are all fine. The woman and child are still fine. The 2 other humans,
not so much.
Not so much.
Cool. My owl just sort of like lands on my shoulder, like burps a little bit, and ruffles his feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will sheathe my sword and just pat the little clockwork spider on the head. You tried. Yeah, and then I'd like to pull out, because I have a handful of daggers actually, and just start trying to cut people out of the spiderweb.
So you're cutting them all out?
I'm gonna start with the women and children, or
okay.
woman and child first.
Okay. I mean, at this point, they're unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even the Dragonborn are.
Okay.
So no one's awake to really, see what you're doing, or even assist you in helping in their own escape.
Well, then I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna cast Tensor's Floating Disc.
Nice.
And I'm gonna pile them up.
Nice. Okay.
I'm gonna pile the Dragonborn on the bottom in that case, and the woman and child on top.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I'll just sort of ritual cast it. So I sit down, manifest this invisible disc, maneuver it to under the people, and just sort of like cut the web and let them fall into it.
Nice.
Because I can't haul them around.
I mean, like one of the Dragonborn's arms just like totally off the disc.
Tiriel's not particularly gentle with them. Like,
I'm surprised you're taking them.
I thought about leaving them, but it'd be really obvious if anyone came to double check that I hadn't brought them back.
Yeah.
I would like to just rifle through their pockets and see what they have. Like, obviously in a, like, sort of roguish way, but also, just for any other information. Like, if they have any orders, if they have any, like, important identifying things on them, that kind of stuff.
You don't find anything like that. They have, like, 68 pieces of silver.
Okay.
If you'd like to add that to your coin purse. And you know what? They had 8 gold on them as well.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, they don't have a whole lot that you would actually consider useful for you.
Okay.
Some of their equipment, but some of it's badly damaged. So yeah.
I would like to also, while I take them, like, any equipment that's damaged, I'll just go ahead and take off of them to make them lighter.
I like his description of the arcane shield.
Yeah.
Or maybe the magic missile through the shield.
Yeah.
They become these like little points that the thing
Because
just
I like to
impales
picture
itself
that
on.
my shield, just because I'm a blade singer, is like this like fan of blades. Like, technically it's invisible, but I like the flavor of it.
No, yeah, totally.
Being like that, and so I imagine like shooting magic missile through it. Some of them just like fire out of it.
Oh, some of those
Like, that's what it
blades just
looked
like
like.
turn and...
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my mental image for it. But I'd like to strip them of their gear just to lighten up the load on the floating disc too. 'Cause
Okay.
they can only carry so much.
Right.
And
And they're
also-
heavy boys.
They're heavy boys, so as I dump them, I'll sort of strip off gear and just leave it there.
This whole process takes you about an hour. To just, strip them of all their gear.
I don't know if I can like just recast it, but that's sort of up to you. But it only technically lasts an hour, so
Well,
I guess I can sort of cast it underneath them again.
we'll say that you took all the gear off first because you knew that it would help lighten your load, and then you put them on. And putting them on, that would take the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
So you have them on, and yes, you could sort of recast it and keep it up. I'm gonna say you can because otherwise, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And they just keep falling on the ground, and you have to like strength check, pick them up, put them
Yeah.
on it, and your strength is terrible. So we don't want to roll for that.
Yeah. No.
No, you
How
easily.
tedious do we want to make this? Not
You-
that tedious.
Yeah. You get them on, you sustain your spell by repeatedly recasting the enchantment, and you go back to the village of Inundar. By this point...
Circumnavigating the bugbear still laying in the dirt.
well, who knows if he's laying in the dirt now.
Yeah.
That charm is worn off, so he's probably like, oh, what did I do? Oh, no.
Why am I laying in the dirt?
What is going
Why
on?
is my shiny gone?
Yeah. That witch. Yeah, so you make your way back to Inundar. And yeah, you come in as this elf with these dragonborn. And everyone sort of has their mouth open, like they're just surprised and they're gawking to see that you've brought back the people safe and sound. Eric, the miller's son, has definitely like ran over to you, and you see his like relief fills his eyes, and he immediately he takes his wife and child like off the top, first his wife and places her down, then his child, and then like he's just like
The second they're off, I just dismiss the floating disc, and the pile of dragonborn just goes poof.
okay, nice, very carelessly handling them, but even the dragonborn they're relieved to see their comrades alive. You can now change the combat music.
Oh, thanks. I can't be trusted to manage the music. Clearly. I'll get better at this. It's a learning process. I'm just too into what's going on. And
No, I know.
I need a single playlist to pull from.
I know.
I'll help build something.
Well, if you're gonna manage it, then yeah.
Yeah. I'll use these and I'll build something else.
So, they're clearly all very excited, but you notice that as Eric's looking at his wife and daughter, and he can tell that they're sort of under some effect.
Mm-hmm.
He looks to you and he says, Are they going to be okay? She's not waking up.
I don't know. If you have a healer, I would take them there.
I will do that. I will take them to the village healer. What did this to them?
Very large spiders.
You can see like a flash of horror and then just relief as he just is like, my family's alive from that. And he just thanks you profusely. He says, is there anything I can give you? I don't have much, but anything, I'll do it, whatever you ask.
I don't need anything from you. Just tell people that an elf helped you.
I will. I'll let them know. You're not all that bad. I appreciate it.
She just smiles softly and leaves.
Wait, what's your name?
Tiriel.
Tiriel? I'll make sure the people know that it was an elf who saved us. Saved my wife and child. Thank you.
I would have liked to... I forgot about this. The men who had died. Like, I would leave them. Like, let them retrieve bodies later.
Oh, so you're gonna let someone know?
Yeah. But
Okay.
take something, like, cut them down so they're not still webbed in there.
Okay.
But take any, like, identifying things. Either, like, weapons, a ring,
You
trinket.
find something that like a piece of even like some of their garb, because a lot of people don't have a whole lot of clothes, and anyone who knows them would know
some
what they wear.
distinctive bracer or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll give those to Eric and
Okay.
have him deliver them to
Okay.
the families.
Yeah, he lets you know that he will find who these belong to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, you even notice the Dragonborn are like, they're happy to see their comrades back. They're still regarding you with suspicion. But they're like crouching down over their men, and they're like, "Oh, he's breathing. That is good. Good." And then like they look to you, and you can see several faces turn to you. One that is pretty young, and he seems the most genuine when he just says, "Thank you. You don't know what this means." And then he looks over at one of the Dragonborn on the ground and says, "This is my brother. I'm glad that you've brought him back. Thank you." And then the other ones, like they sort of like look at him and see that he's thanking you, and then they also dip their heads in recognition and gratitude.
Tiriel just stays silent. She has a hard time accepting the thanks. And rather than sully the good deed, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
And she just she nods to the one whose brother she saved.
Mm-hmm.
And then she leaves.
Okay. You leave. Now where are you going, Tiriel?
I'd like to stop if there is a tavern here.
Okay.
And just ask whoever's there for a sense of what the next town is, what the next place is from Inundar.
Right.
Because, I know the Merwood, and
Right.
I know this town, and that was my only destination.
Yeah.
And beyond that, possibly see if anyone in Inundar can sell me a map, or point me towards someone who sells one, and then
Interesting.
pick a place.
So you don't know anyone. No one in the village really has maps for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's there as like a cartographer by any means. But you actually meet up in the inn with the older dwarf who was the head of that caravan.
Oh, gotcha.
His name is Kurgan. Excuse me, Kurgan. And Kurgan, he's this gruff old dwarf, but he's like, "What you did for the elves back there, that was pretty honorable of you. Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate it." And then as you let him know what you need, he's like, "I don't have a map for you, but I can certainly tell you the directions. If you just head along the Hero's Road, eventually you'll get to the town of Vale. That's where we came from with these goods, and we're trading them here. In fact, we're going to be heading out tomorrow. You're welcome to tag along if you'd like. Sir, at this point, no one will give you any shit for being an elf.
Well, and he said, you can hear the cat. He wants it. He's like in the tavern, you said. Sorry, I was responding.
He's in the tavern?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I will travel with you.
Oh, yeah.
I will...
Should I answer that question for him? Or did you?
Roughly, yeah. They're not trusted, haven't been the most welcoming to outsiders. There's a lot, you can answer it, but short version.
Short version, basically in my setting, in the world of Baranzaya, the world was pretty much sacked, 600 years ago, by an extraplanar threat that almost, drove back all races to three separate points, three separate bricks. One of those was the Merwood, which is the ancestral home of the elves. And when the elves were driven back, the solution that ended this scourge is what it's called, the scourge. The solution that ended it pretty much destroyed a large swath of their territory. And elves are very much connected to the land that they live in. And when pretty much like 60% of the Merwood was destroyed, they felt that. And so it was sort of a crime that they could never forgive. And so since then, they've been very isolationist, and they've pretty much contained themselves to the Merwood, sort of developing rocky relationships with a lot of people around. And so now it's 600 years later, and tensions are brewing, especially among the Dragonborn to the south and the elves to the north. And there's more to that. But yeah, so that's sort of the gist of it. If you have any more questions, please ask them. I will.
And eventually, we'd love to have part of our world document and setting.
Yeah.
That we'll share with people that you guys can read, because
online.
It's a pretty cool world setting.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, the dwarf. What was his name again?
Kurgan.
Yeah,
call me Kurgan.
Yeah. Very well. I'll travel with you if you need help.
Yeah, sure. I'd always love to put an elf to work. I put everyone to work. It's my caravan.
Okay. Well, I'll buy him whatever he's drinking. And probably something lighter for myself. And I assume whatever he's drinking is dark and horrible.
Yeah, dark, sludgy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like grit. He loves it.
It's probably a really nice porter, but I don't want it.
And he's looking at your drink and he's like, it's basically water over there, but whatever. He just pounds his drink back.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, then I will travel with them to Vale, you said was the next?
Vale's the next town, yeah.
Yeah, I will follow them there.
Okay.
And see what's there.
So, we'll wrap this up.
We'll wrap this up.
So, you begin to travel with the caravan out of the Merwood. Till eventually you actually watch as the caravan emerges from the edge of the wood. It's very stark, where the sort of megalithic trees of your ancestral homeland, of where your kin live, end is just now rolling hills beyond that go out west. When you finally emerge from the Merwood for the first time in your entire life, you can see miles of rolling hills, rivers winding these sort of snaking paths, and you see smaller woods dotting the landscape here and there, and these woods, of course, don't compare to your Merwood. Hey, Boo.
This one?
Mm-hmm. You played it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you begin walking behind the caravan, you trail for a moment. Your feet are weighted with indecision, as you know that if you walk out of the Merwood, you won't be able to return. Not on friendly terms with the elves. You know of the laws that your kin hold. But you're looking out, and The life on the road is calling to you. It's everything you've ever wanted, and out there you know that you can prove yourself. You can prove to the elves that what you know will work. It will work. And as you're thinking this, you hear a voice call out to you from behind. A voice that you know all too well.
Oh, shit.
And you hear, Tiriel, wait! It's your younger brother, Lindir. You spin around and you see both of your brothers. You see Lindir, and you can tell it's him easily by his fine hair, dark just like yours, his silvery blue eyes, his pale face. You can see that both of them are standing under the shade of the tree that sort of stoops over, marking the very edge. They don't step out of that shadow. You hear his voice again. He calls to you and he tells you to wait. And even those trees and the way that they stand over, it's almost like they're beckoning you back. And he says, "Where are you going?" And he's calling out to you. His voice cracks with desperation. "Tiri, why are you leaving? I don't understand." And he calls again.
It takes Tiriel a minute to respond.
There's this tension as you both wait. And he, with this sort of look of desperation in his eyes, as he's waiting for a response, and every moment that drags on is killing him on the inside. Your older brother, however, has a more steeled expression in his eyes. He looks at you with a look of, there's shards of coldness in there. Yeah.
I didn't want it to be like this.
What do you mean? Like what? Where are you going? Tiriel?
Don't know. But I'll be back.
What do you mean? You can't leave. If you do... And then you see the older brother, Gildor. He sort of puts his hand in front of the younger brother to sort of stop him in a sense. She never wanted to stay with us in the first place. She's always wanted to leave. You know that, Lindir. No, that's not true, right, Tiriel? Gildor looks at you again with this cold expression and a slight curve on the edge of his lips. Almost like a smile. It's a pained smile, though. One that doesn't take pleasure in saying this. But he says, "You have the chance to turn back now, Tiriel. We won't tell anyone what happened here. Come back with us. This is your last chance. You know this. Once you leave, you know what you become."
If it all goes according to plan, you become our salvation. And I turn.
And as you say this, and you turn, you hear him saying the familiar words that you know are the preface to any decree, any law that stands in the Merwood. He says, "In the sight of Pyr'aven, you, Tiriel Vas Enric, are hereby exiled from the Merwood."
And before I get too far, I use message back to Lindir. It's like, just trust me and wait for me.
And you hear a tiny whisper back, "I will."
I take my new spider friend and I leave.
And that is where we will end tonight's session.